Hey everybody, welcome back to Rink's Garage. Today, got my buddy Neil here. We're going to work on his 2011 Chevy. It's got a ripped boot on a CV axle, so we're going to swap that out. Let's get after it. So Neil had this thing into the local dealer and he told him it had a ripped boot on the CV shaft, which it looks like it is. Leaking a little grease out of it, so we're going to swap her out. First thing we got to do is get the wheel off. We already got it jacked up on jack stands.
Safety first.
Safety first. So we'll pull this wheel off and take a look at her. So Neil's got 22 mil, pulling the wheel off. Next thing we got to do after you get the wheel off is take this grease cap off. Well, it's not a grease cap, it's a dust cap, but screwdriver. Try and get started in there. They're a little tricky sometimes. And get it pried out far enough you can usually get in there and twist it off so we can get to our axle nut. Next thing, you can grab your 35mm socket. We'll take this nut off the outside. Sometimes you can get it with impact. We'll try it. And there's a little washer behind it. And it don't hurt to make sure she's loose in the splines. It's loose. Alright, after we got the nut off, next thing we gotta do is get the shock out of the way because this CV shaft has to slide out backwards, which the shock's right in the way. So we got 2 bolts on the bottom, 15mm. Take them off from underneath. Next, after we get the bottom 2 bolts off, there's 3 bolts up on the top of the shock tower we got to run off. They're 18mm. So now after we got all the bolts off, we should be able to reach in here and slide this up the back. Take the shock out of the way. Alright, now that we got the shock out of the way, there is 6 bolts where the CV shaft meets the differential up in there. We'll zip them off. Now we should be able to drop that down below the axle, slide it out. And as you can see, this one has been leaking grease out of the boot here. So, okay for now, but down the road she would run out of grease and maybe come apart. So now we just got to throw the new one in. Alright, so we got to lay it out. First thing you want to do, of course, is make sure that they are the same. These are the same length, so we should be good to go to throw her back in. It does come with a new nut. We'll spin that off, and then I like to put a little anti-seize on the spline just so she don't get stuck in there over time. And then all you gotta do is slide it back through the hub. Splines lined up. Just like that. And then line her back up and put our bolts back in the back. Now that we got them back in, we'll just snug them back down. Torque them properly, and she's installed. Now we just got to tighten up our nut out here. And put our dust cap back on. Just like that. Now we can ready to put our shock back in, so let's put that back through the way we had it. Get it started back up in the holes in the tower. Like that. Put our bottom bolts and our top nuts back on and tighten them down. Now that that's all tightened down, we're ready to stick the wheel back on. Like NASCAR. Now we just got to throw the dust cover back on. Line up our two screwdriver holes. Snap her back on. So now we got a new CV shaft installed in Neil's truck. All we got to do is drop the jack. Easy as that. So don't need a whole lot of tools. Like I said, 15, 18 millimeter, 22 for your lug nuts, and a 35 for that wheel nut. And that's about all there is to it. So she should be good to go now. Hope this helped you. We'll see you next time.
Rink's Garage, baby.